Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. I saw a recent Emerson poll that had Governor Jelly Belly's approval rating down barely over 40%.
Oh, no. What's he going to do?
An enterprising opposition party might try to take advantage of that. Unfortunately, we don't have one in Illinois.
No, we don't.
Interestingly, too, Biden up 9 against Trump in that same poll, which, of course, is, a much smaller margin than his margin of victory in Illinois in 2020 or Clinton's margin of victory in 2016. So there has been a few people who have decided to give common sense a whirl. By contrast, in Pennsylvania, that same Emerson group found Trump up 9 on Biden. Pennsylvania, which is sort of increasingly believed to not be a swing state anymore. Maybe, if things keep going the way they're going under this president, maybe it will be in 2024. We'll see. Not Illinois, I know, but Pennsylvania, that would be a game changer. That certainly would change the electoral calculus, wouldn't it? So in the absence of a Republican Party, what's there to do locally to engage, to try to claw back towards sanity? Well, one opportunity may be this right to parent referendum question. If you don't have Republican candidates worth a lick doing anything particularly relevant, you do have some conservative grassroots activists filling the void or attempting to. Jeanne Ives, of course, is one of them, former state representative. She's the co-founder of Breakthrough Ideas, and she's the host on our airwaves of The Real Story, Sunday evenings, 7 to 9 p.m. The Right to Parent Petition, you heard her commentary at the bottom of the 7 o'clock hour on it. What is it? How to get involved? How important? What kind of impact? Let's ask her. Jeanne, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good to be with you, Dan and Amy. Thanks for having me on.
So explain what the petition is and what it takes to get the question you want to put to the residents of Illinois on the ballot.
So very simply, the advisory question asks whether or not you should have the written consent of a minor's parent or guardian before anybody, entity, person, clinic, school, can perform any non-emergency medical procedure, give a child medication, a pharmaceutical, or any gender modification procedures, counseling on gender identification or gender therapy. It's very straightforward. And we're asking the question. So it's not an easy lift. We understand that, but it's simply an advisory referendum question because we can't actually do something on a constitutional amendment because, of course, our laws prevent citizens from actually changing our Constitution in meaningful ways, like saying that you have a right to parent, but we are going to ask the polling question. And so it takes, it's going to be 328,000 signatures minimum, petition signatures to get on the ballot. We're shooting for 500,000. We'd like those in by April 1st, and people can go to parentsmattercoalition.org, parentsmattercoalition.org. They can download the petition right there, the instructions, and get more information, and they can start to circulate it and send it back in. This is a very much a grassroots effort. We think it's worth doing, and I personally think it'll be very telling about who you're surrounded by in Illinois. So I'm encouraging people, take it to your school board members. I mean, we are definitely targeting schools about what they've been doing to transition students behind parents' back. Take it to your school board members. If they refuse to sign this petition, publicize their name.
Well, tell us some stories about people trying to, get their kids transitioned behind the parents' back.
Well, I think the most alarming one comes actually from a 2019 USA Today article that Jay Keck wrote. He was an opinion contributor at that time, and he writes that his 14-year-old daughter became convinced she was a son, and his attempt to help her at her public school, which, by the way, was Hinsdale Central, undermined him in every step of the way. So he said this started in 2016. He wrote this editorial in 2019, and they thwarted his and his wife's ability to help their child through this gender dysphoria. And she was on the autism spectrum. He fully admits that in this article. And they just hid it behind her. He even went into them and said, we don't want her to transition. You use her proper name. You use the right pronouns. And they did not do that. The schools worked against the parents. To me, that's like the most alarming one. And that goes years back.
And
but, this is happening everywhere.
And so just to make sure I understand the scope of the advisory question, that would then also include notification of parents with respect to a minor who sought an abortion, right?
That's correct, but we're going past notification to written consent. We don't think it's enough.
Right, yes, exactly. And you're right. So you would have to, notify the parent that this is happening, make sure they know, and then consent. You couldn't have some counselor ferry some teenage girl to Planned Parenthood, or preteen for that matter.
Well, that's right. But, I mean, again, it's not even the law. And actually, this idea of an advisory question, let's take the poll question of the real citizens in the state of Illinois, because you've got gerrymandered districts in every single situation where the Democrats have picked their voters, and these guys are just completely full of themselves. They're ideologues, and they're not really listening to the citizens. We believe this is easily a 72% question, because if you look at polling, 72% of people believe that parents have a right to know about their minor daughter getting an abortion. But so it's time to ask the question, but we go to actual written consent. We don't think it's enough just to notify.
Yeah, consent, exactly. And this is also, too, this is important because this is the age of the abortion pill as well. So you wouldn't even need to necessarily go anywhere.
Yes, but there's a whole host of other reasons to do this. So let's say that you've got a woke 20-year-old camp counselor who wants to talk to your 14-year-old daughter about the fact that maybe she's just really a boy. Well, that's another thing that kind of covers this. That's why we say any entity, person. But we do specifically talk about schools, because at the Parents Defending Education website, which you can look at, they have a list of school districts where they actually say that you can hide the status from parents of a kid's transgendering. And of course, on that list are a number of Illinois schools, including my own school district. My own school district's on that list, District 200.
Wheaton-Warrenville.
Wheaton. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're on that list to hide a student's transgender status from their parents. And this is official ISB guidance. This is Pritzker's official guidance.
Well, did you hear what the IHSA is doing? So if there is a transgender or somebody who claims they are, you can't just say you're transgender. You have to get a note from your mom and dad, not from the school, but from your mom and dad saying that you're going through transitioning in order to play on that said sport. So do you consider that a little bit of a victory?
Well, that's a step in the right direction. Great. I look forward to a lot of people signing on to this, and of all sort of political persuasions. It's just common sense. It's an inherent right of parents to know what's going on with their child.
What does the coalition look like at present? Does it include any elected officials, or is this strictly an initiative of sort of the pro-family grassroots?
Well, it started out with a parishioner at St. Michael's basically wanting to try to reverse the repeal of the parental notification of abortion. And I talked with him because I know him personally, and then Mary Kate Knorr of Illinois Right to Life. And we us three came together and said, hey, we think we should broaden this to include some additional items like schools, transitioning kids behind parents' back. And so we put this together. It took a few months to do. But, I think Catholic Vote's with us. I'm sure the pro-family groups will be with us. We're sure that a lot of other legislators will be with us. But we want parents to weigh in. We want citizens to weigh in on this more than anything.
Well, and of course, and then, for those who would oppose an advisory question that has no that's not legally binding in any way, well, the response would be, what are you afraid of? People to express their opinion? I mean, this is a blue state. All the politicians run around saying Illinois is this blue state. It's this progressive haven. So if it's all those things and the electorate is sympathetic to the positions that the political ruling class has taken, then that should be reflected in a popular response to this advisory question, right?
Absolutely. So don't just take it to your school board members. Take it to your elected officials. at every level, but really your state reps, because if this advisory question receives, a good majority, a majority period, actually, we shouldn't even have to ask this question. It's insane that we have to ask it. But if it receives a majority opinion, then we should expect our legislators to then forward legislation that protects parents' rights in this way. And if they don't, that tells you a lot. But if they refuse to sign, that tells you everything you need to know about them. And
right,
that should be publicized. So you take it to your state rep. If they won't sign this petition, put it out publicly. And that's something that you can send back to our website, parentsmattercoalition.org. You can email us that response, and we'll publicize it for you.
Well, and the other thing this does, too, is it gives people a reason to perhaps engage and at least participate, like in terms of voting, even if they're otherwise forlorn about their choices at the local level or don't see much hope of a Republican winning this state in the presidential race.
Yes, and I mean, if they also attempt to, for example, throw this question out, if we get the sufficient number of signatures to file, and then they attempt to throw the question out for any reason, any legal challenge, I mean, that's just another reason to say Illinois is lost. It's completely lost. Or if the question makes it to the ballot and you can't even get 50% of the people that live around you and are actual active voters to vote for parental rights, then what the hell? Why do you want to live with people that feel this way?
It's like the country song, "One More Last Chance for Illinois." Maybe Vince Gill will record some music to the "One More Last Chance for Illinois" to signal some sign of intelligent life, the right to parent petition.
A lot of us expect that the Democrats will attempt to put a constitutional amendment on the ballot that enshrines a right to an abortion in the state of Illinois. And so this, if that question comes up and then this question's below it, well, we'll see how people choose.
She is Jeanne Ives. She's the co-founder of Breakthrough Ideas, a former member of the Illinois House, host of The Real Story on our airwaves Sunday from 7 to 9 p.m. And again, the petition she was talking about can be found at parentsmattercoalition.org. parentsmattercoalition.org. Get involved, get some petitions, go to your school board, go to your elected officials, go to your neighbors. At least you're getting out early, so there's plenty of time to gather the requisite number of signatures if people are so motivated. Jeanne, thanks as always. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Please join us for the Abstinence and Marriage Education Partnership's annual banquet on Friday, November 17th at the Cotillion in Palatine. Come hear Scott Phelps, our executive director, along with Bridget Ziegler, co-founder of Moms for Liberty. AMP exists so that every teenager in the country